Hey everyone, welcome to Quickscope podcast brought to you by Higher Passion Entertainment. We're your hosts, Heroes, Serge, and we got someone special today. We got Ruben from the Heroes of Humans podcast. You can catch him on a bunch of other podcasts actually. And Ruben, thank you for joining us, man. Just want to say thanks for being here, and of course, we're really excited to have you. To kind of start off, I want to ask you a few questions. Um,
All
what
right, all right.
what 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 games do you play? What did you grow up playing? What got you into gaming? Uh, what are you playing right now? So let's start with the first
Uh,
question. What got you into gaming?
so into gaming, I guess I've always been active, into sports and all that. So I guess growing up, I played soccer. So I ain't gonna lie. Growing up, I played soccer. So I started with FIFA, and well, no, I didn't start with FIFA. I ain't gonna lie. It was always freaking Mario. And the Super
Yeah,
Nintendo and Nintendo. So obviously it was gonna be Mario without a doubt. But So what really got me into gaming was the sport aspect of it. Growing up, it was like I said, the Super Mario and all that stuff. But what really attracted me was the sport aspect of it when it came to the PlayStation 2, I guess. Because that's when the my bad, that's when the majority of those sports games when really came out for me, or for everybody, I guess I should say. And yeah, I guess yeah, it was gonna be Mario for sure, without a doubt, and sports,
sports
FIFA.
games. Yeah, FIFA. You still
It is
playing
because, like
FIFA?
I said, I grew up playing FIFA. Yeah, and I still play FIFA. FIFA 21 right now. I haven't got the PS5 yet, but I'm on that PS4. I've always been PlayStation, no matter what. Always. I mean, I probably had an Xbox back in the days when the first Halo came out and all that. But
Yeah,
after
yeah.
that, yeah, I just been PlayStation.
It's dope. It's dope.
Yeah.
So did you play Xbox at all, or
I
just
did,
PlayStation?
but only
Okay,
when it came to Halo. That's the only
okay.
thing when I
Yeah.
think of Xbox, I think of Halo, and that's the only thing I remember playing when it came to Xbox. Because I always think I always compared Xbox and PlayStation to the fact where I always thought Xbox was the better shooting console,
Yeah.
and PlayStation was the better when it came to the sports.
Okay.
That was
Yeah.
my perspective, at least. Yeah, but yeah,
Yeah, that could be true.
Xbox. Damn, the last time I played Xbox, I think is when I played Halo for years ago, bro. Without doubt. Yeah, without doubt.
That's good to have extra different perspectives. I guess most of us are here are Xbox. Besides, well, uh, Eric plays a bit of PS, but yeah, that's good.
Yeah, I play a lot of PC. But yeah, it's pretty dope that you do that. Yeah, so kind of want to get into these topics right now, and like Serge mentioned, it's pretty dope that you have a different perspective on these. Um, I wanted to talk about specifically some of the events that have been coming out. So on the last podcast, a lot of you guys heard that we're kind of disappointed at the state of games at the moment because everything
Yeah.
came out in December with the new consoles and then just like through February, like January, February, we weren't seeing anything.
Yeah.
Like nothing was going on anymore. But recently, they're kind of starting to pick up again, right? So we had three really big events happen. So we got the Nintendo Direct. So I got my Nintendo
Yeah.
shirt on for that. They announced some cool new games. We had the PlayStation State of Play, and the big one was BlizzCon. So I want to start off with Nintendo first. So for Nintendo, um, did you guys watch the Nintendo Direct? What was kind of the biggest surprises for you there?
Yeah, I watched the recap of it.
Okay.
I loved Knockout City. Knockout City looks awesome. I
Oh
know it's coming
yeah,
out on PlayStation 2. So I'm excited for that one. The new Mario Golf. The Mario Golf looks amazing.
Mario
Kind
Golf
of
looks
reminds me of
funny.
like
Yeah,
it reminds me like of a
Oh,
Mario Party in a sense, kind of like that little fun family game.
yeah,
So that and of course Hades coming to Switch, which is, I mean, it's kind of that kind of game is meant for for Switch. So
yeah,
it feels like it's going to fit right in. So there was a lot of good games, a lot of games that are new. Splatoon, I know they said 2022, so that's a bit of wait. I don't know
yeah,
when they're going to do it. Maybe end of next year, when it's going to be. But there's a lot of good games, a lot of games I didn't recognize, but it was good. Yeah, it was good. There was a lot of good games coming out for Nintendo.
Yeah, you touched on a few things there.
Yeah,
I wanted to talk about Knockout City for a minute
yeah,
because it was on the Nintendo Direct, but also in the PlayStation State of Play.
yeah.
And that game, brand new game, but the beta is cross-platform, which is
That's
dope.
awesome.
And I know we've talked about on here several times how important cross-platform is to new
Yeah,
titles, to new games. Seeing that is just going to be so much better,
definitely.
and and from the very beginning, it's already in beta, it's already cross-platform.
Yeah.
Uh, so what did you guys think of this game? It was like a dodgeball arena type
Yeah,
game.
yeah. It was different. It was new. It was it threw a good funny spin on dodgeball, right? Like it was kind of like a
Yeah,
I guess you say like you said arena battle royale ish, and it looks cool. And the game mechanics look pretty funny. How you can kind of curve the ball differently and use different moves to throw the ball. So it's kind of like you just have to be ready for the ball to come from anywhere. So yeah, it looks
Yeah, it's
awesome.
like you guys been saying, it's something different, something new, because
yeah.
I guess, going old school, growing up, I would go with Zelda, because I think that was I caught the highlights. I ain't gonna lie, I didn't catch the whole thing, but I caught the
Yeah, yeah.
highlights, and I think Zelda is the one that caught my attention just because of graphic wise, just old
Oh
school
yeah.
thinking, old school wise. Oh man, it's been a whole, technology has advanced so much,
Yeah.
and I feel like that's what like I go back to what I was saying when I was introducing myself with like games have to evolve or change some way somehow, and I think that's what they're doing with everything they're introducing now. I believe
Yeah.
you can you got to expand, you got to expand, I guess, your mind and your I guess creativity, when it comes to the creators that come up with these games. And I think they're going in the right direction. You know what I'm saying? It's catchy as us older dudes, I guess, because we're not old, but compared to
Yeah.
these younger gamers now and everything, like I feel like it can't go wrong, because if they
Yeah.
do bad, the only way to go is up. And I feel like that's the way the gaming world is evolving in that term. But I
Yeah.
like what they're like I said, like it's like you said, it's that arena kind of dodgeball kind of aspect to it. I always loved dodgeball growing up.
Mhm.
But when it comes to gaming, it's a whole different aspect. So it's cool.
Yeah,
I like it. I like where they're going with this.
Yeah. I think it's pretty dope. I think both with Knockout City, new games, but also with the Legend of Zelda, which you mentioned. This is Legend of Zelda Skyward Sword, so they're remaking a game, and again, this is a nod to old school gamers like ourselves, right? Like this game came
Mm-hmm.
out back on the Wii, like before the Wii U, so
yeah,
almost 10 years ago, and and when it came out on there, it was a great game. The brand new mechanics for that, and now they're updating the mechanics even more so. And I feel like we've been getting a lot of remasters lately, right?
yeah.
We've,
Yeah, for
I
sure.
mean, we'll touch on a few more later, but I think the remaster formula is just so interesting to see. I read a tweet the other day from one of the creators of the original Diablo, and he was saying how the fact that people like all these developers are remastering because it's a low risk for high reward,
Yeah.
right? Like it's low risk. It's not going to take as much time. I mean, like stories are already played out, the mechanics are already figured
Yeah.
out. All they need to do is update graphics, update gameplay, and at that
Yep.
point, like they're gonna make money off the people that are like. I mean, myself,
Nostalgia.
like yeah, like Legend of Zelda,
Yeah,
Skyward Sword. Like I'm gonna get it for the Switch, of course. I mean, we're gonna try it out. Why not? And there's gonna be a lot more people like me that do that. So I think seeing all these people like playing those old school games, just remastered versions, I think it's so cool. Um, which brings me to the next question. What game would you guys like to see remastered?
hmm.
And
Damn.
I know
That hasn't been
that
remastered.
hasn't been remastered
Yeah, I
yet.
know it's
Yeah,
like that. Is a lot of my favorite games have been remastered, and
yeah,
Oh man.
I gotta think about that one.
Yeah,
Um,
that's a
yeah.
ooh.
has has Star Fox been remastered? I don't remember if that has
I
been
don't think
remastered.
so, man.
Yeah, I would
I
say
don't think
something
I
so.
like
don't
that. Either that or It has to be something on Nintendo 64 or something on GameCube.
Yeah.
For
Dude,
sure, man. Because
Star
those games,
Fox,
yeah,
the original Star Fox on like the Switch would be pretty dope.
yeah, yeah, hell yeah.
That
That's
would be
what I'd be
nice
interested.
for
Like
sure.
I'm just starting to imagine like Star Fox with
Yeah,
the like graphics of Star Wars Squadrons.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah, like that'd be so dope.
yeah,
Okay. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
no,
super
yeah,
fun.
that's a toughie right there, dude. Because I mean, like, there's a bunch of games that I feel like have been remastered already.
Yeah.
The
yeah,
ones at least I would want to choose. Um, but right off the top of my head, I can't think of anything.
Yeah.
I mean, they're
I
coming out
think
with Diamond and Pearl was a big one that
Diamond Pro, yeah.
I was waiting for. Yeah, after they
Yeah.
remastered, Blue and Yellow, basically, well, and then they did they've done a bunch of remasters in this in a kind of in a different way, but Diamond and Pearl I'm excited for,
Yeah.
coming out too.
Yeah, I mean that's really cool, and I think that the Pokemon stuff wasn't really touched on that much in Nintendo
Yeah,
Direct. They had their own like separate event.
yeah,
But if you guys watched that, did you see that like this Pokemon RPG
yeah,
style game
yeah, yeah.
that
It looks
is
fun.
that's is taken so long to get there, but that's gonna be so cool.
Yeah,
Like actually like
Yeah.
have your little player like throw a Pokeball at a specific Pokemon and to catch it. Like
yeah,
you're not your typical like top-down scroller like Pokemon has been in the past. It's just
yeah,
they're taking a new direction, and man, it almost looks like Breath of the Wild combined with Pokemon.
yeah, yeah. It looks awesome. I'm excited. I'm excited for sure. And in Gen 4, I mean, Gen 4, they haven't. I don't think they've made anything on Gen 4 since Diamond and Pearl. I guess was the last time they used Gen 4. So it's been a
Oh,
while.
but
Yeah.
yeah, it's gonna be really cool.
True.
Ruben, you play any Pokemon games?
I do, bro, but that it's I ain't gonna lie, it's been a while. I think the last time I played Pokemon, bro, I ain't gonna lie. Who am I kidding myself? It's been a couple of years since I played anything Pokemon, and I think it was when that new app came out, bro. That was probably like what
Pokemon Go.
2014, 15. Yeah, Pokemon Go. So yeah, it's been like 6 years, I guess, 5 years since I played
Dang.
anything
Yeah,
Pokemon. But the thing about me is I'm still into those cards, collectibles kind of things. I'm a collectible kind of guy, dude. I collect anything, sports, anything like super. Like I'm in the Heroes and Mutant podcast, like you were saying.
Yeah, yeah.
And so I'm into all that kind of stuff, So
Mm.
yeah, yeah, I may not play games like that for Pokemon wise, but I am a collectible kind of guy. So I'm into
Okay,
it. I just
okay.
haven't played a game like that in a while, if
I
I'm
think
being
that's
honest.
fair. I think that's fair, and that's kind of the beauty of Pokemon too. It's like I know plenty of people that just collected the Pokemon cards and would play that game, and growing up is just that was the big thing, right?
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
without a
that's
doubt.
pretty cool. Um, Changing topics a little. I know you mentioned you came from the Heroes and Mutants podcast. We did a podcast on this before, but do you have a favorite superhero game?
Ooh, damn. If I were to go, like, to be honest, I guess I would go with. Uh, I know. It is and it isn't, I guess, but I would go with Mortal Kombat. Straight
Mortal
up.
Kombat. All right.
Yeah, I mean, would you consider some sort of hero
Yeah,
kind of
I consider
thing?
Super Mario a superhero. So I mean, yeah, I'll
Yeah,
definitely, yeah,
yeah. 'Cause
I
I
think
was
so.
gonna
Yeah,
say if it was go all out, I guess it would be Marvel versus Capcom. But nah, I think I would go on Mortal Kombat for sure. And I'm not bringing it up just because of the hype with the new trailer
Yeah.
and everything coming out. This, I mean, it's a straight up brutal game, and I think that's what I liked. That's what I really liked about it because of the bloodiness and all that stuff. And yeah, growing up, like I said, we played all this, Mario, and there was the Street Fighter and all that. And that, yeah, they had that brutal aspect to it. But I think when it came to Mortal Kombat, I was always just into that. I guess the bloodier, the better.
Yeah.
I would say.
Of course.
yeah,
Yeah. That makes sense. I don't know. It's been really cool seeing all these different state of play and different events come out. And I mean, I've been waiting for the next big superhero game to come out, but fortunately, I haven't haven't had a really good one lately. I was hoping Avengers was gonna be that one, but
Yeah.
it's been kind of rocky start. But they are having the new Hawkeye DLC coming out, so that'll be pretty dope to see.
Mhm.
Um,
Yeah,
yeah,
it feels like
I feel
they're
like
putting a lot of their money into movies and TV shows at the moment. So they're like their games are kind of lacking.
yeah.
So maybe once the hype dies down of
Mhm.
movies and TV shows, maybe they'll go back into games.
Yeah, the
And
go
especially
ahead.
with the Avengers right now too, I feel like they're just trying to milk
Oh
them any
yeah,
way they can. So like with the new Hawkeye, I feel like if it were like indie individual like characters, like those are the games that are gonna like make more profit. I think in the long run right now because
yeah,
with Avengers, how many different games have they made? Whether it's on the phone or through PlayStation, Xbox, whatever. I feel
Yeah.
like
yeah,
they're just milking the heck out of the Avengers right now.
yeah. Of course, we were talking about that in the last podcast too. It's their what's the game called? Is the Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite? That's the one where they took out all of the like they took out Wolverine and Doctor Doom. They took out all those characters and just focused on the MCU characters. And man, it just
Yeah.
ruined the game for me. Like
It's like how do you take out Wolverine out
I
of Marvel's
right,
Capcom? It's
Yeah,
yeah.
like
Yeah, and they threw in like Doctor Strange and Captain Marvel. I'm like, this just feels so
yeah,
weird, but obviously, like
uh,
that's what they have to do, man. Yeah,
yeah,
but we'll see. Well, we'll see where the classic superhero games go from now. But like you guys mentioned, like the characters in these games themselves are heroes in and of themselves as well. Um,
yeah,
one developer that has really focused a lot on creating like hero games and like hero shooters has been Blizzard. And Blizzard had their own event, and usually this is the big giant event in Anaheim. They
yeah,
take up the whole Anaheim Convention Center, and it actually looks pretty cool if you haven't gone. BlizzCon is
yeah.
just it's massive, and as you know, Blizzard has their major games are like World of Warcraft, obviously they're number one. They got Hearthstone, the card game, and what are the games? They got Diablo series and
Overwatch.
StarCraft and Overwatch. Like those are their big games. So every year at BlizzCon, they usually don't do like the major events with all of the developers because they have BlizzCon for themselves, and that's where they do their big announcements. So at BlizzCon this year, obviously, it had to be online. They couldn't do it in person. They had quite a few announcements, but overall, I was kind of disappointed in it. The biggest announcement was Diablo 4.
Yeah,
Diablo 4 coming out. I still think it's for 2022. But even then, I'm a big Diablo fan. Like when my son was born, so like 2 years ago, I remember just like holding him in my arms and just playing Diablo 3, like that,
yeah,
like fond memories of that, and now seeing that they're doing Diablo 4, it kind of got me excited for the Diablo series again, um, especially
yeah.
since which they also announced here, Diablo 2 is being remastered again. Here we go, remastered games.
Yeah.
Diablo 2 is being remastered and it's going to be on consoles as well. And that kind of gives me hope that Diablo 4 might be on console, and is not going to be a PC only game like it has been in the past.
Yeah.
Um, did you guys play any of the Diablo games?
I didn't since I just got on PC. I would
Okay.
like a year and a half ago.
Yeah.
So I haven't, but I've watched it. So I've kept an eye on it. So it's a
Yeah.
game I've always wanted to play. So if it does come to console, well now I'm on PC. So now I give it a try.
Yeah.
But definitely want to give it a try. It's always been one of the games I've kept my eyes
Yeah.
on. From afar, where you're just like, God, I want to play that game. That's one of the games that you kind of want to give a shot if you've never played for sure.
Yeah.
yeah. I've like I said, I'm a PlayStation
Oh
kind
yeah.
of
Yeah.
dude, and I said I've played Xbox a while ago. But now I've never How long ago did that Diablo come out for PC? I
The
mean,
first Diablo,
cause I've never
the
So what?
'90s.
the first Diablo, yeah.
Yeah, it's been a
Ooh,
minute.
damn! Then I,
What, 15 years?
I'm
It's been a
like,
while. Yeah, even more
then
maybe.
I'm out of,
Yeah. Yeah.
then I'm straight out of my
Out of your element.
I guess
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm out of my league on that. What I'm saying, I guess, because I've heard title before, I guess.
Yeah.
But like I said, I'm not a PC player, so I don't really know much
Yeah.
about it.
Well,
Could you kind of like
yeah. Well,
what's it about?
now with Diablo 2 is gonna be remastered and gonna be on console, so that might be something that you might check out now. And
Yeah.
Diablo itself as a series is really dope. It's like the main point of it, as the name suggests, is to kill the devil, right? The Diablo at the end, and you fight through like these dungeons and fight all these demons to get to the end and kill the final boss. And you can do it in the later iterations, in Diablo 2 and Diablo 3, you can be different um, types of characters, right, with different abilities to fight through the dungeons. And um, so with that coming to console, it's going to be really dope to see the new player base that might play it. Definitely, I mean, I'm going to try it out on console. I already played it through on PC. So, I mean, get together with some homies and like I think you can play up to 3 players, and the 3 of you just
Yeah.
team up and try to play through the game and beat it and like level up along the way and gather like mystical weapons and all this crazy stuff. Like it's pretty dope. It's pretty dope to play that way. So yeah, maybe when it comes out, maybe Rue, we can jump on and play some Diablo 2 on console. Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah, I'm for sure gonna hop
Yeah.
on that. Yeah, 'cause I like those kind of like I said, I'm open minded to everything. You know, I'm not just about sports or or just shooting. You know, I
Yeah.
like those story mode kind of games.
Yeah, the story's
I
dope.
like all
The
that
story is
stuff.
so dope. It's one of my favorite like in-game stories. Yeah. Um, Another thing that came out of BlizzCon was again, this is a PC game, but it's World of Warcraft. So World of Warcraft, Shadowlands, new DLC. I don't really play World of
Mhm.
Warcraft anymore, so I wasn't too excited about that. But I know there's huge like WoW fanboys that are gonna be playing that, right?
Yeah.
So I'm sure it was exciting for them. I'm kind of familiar with the characters because I play Hearthstone, and Hearthstone has the characters as cards. Um, but and if you didn't know, there is a World of Warcraft classic, so they remade it
Mhm.
like to start over from the very beginning, like before all this DLC happened. Um,
Yeah.
Again, another remaster, and and they're just playing through it there. So they added another DLC there called Burning Crusade. I'm sure that's pretty exciting as well.
Yeah.
But a big one for me was Hearthstone. So I play a lot of Hearthstone. If you haven't played Ruben, Hearthstone is very much like a card game like Yu-Gi-Oh. I think it's simplified way more than Yu-Gi-Oh, because it's like you have your attack and your health for each monster, and then from there like you have your life points, but instead of having like 2,000 life points, you only have like 40. So it's a
Okay.
simplified game. So um, and again, like you build your deck, you collect cards, you pay for packs. It's just all virtual. And the idea of this new game coming out is, well, I'll backtrack a bit. I don't know if you ever played an auto battler. Those types of games are like Team Fight Tactics, or what's the other one? There's a couple other auto battlers where you like get your minions and you collect minions and you just let them fight. You don't control them.
Yeah.
You just like create your little army
Okay.
versus another
Yeah.
person, and they just fight each other. Um,
Your own little
yeah.
clan. Yeah.
So there's a Hearthstone version of that with cards, where like you play each other, and throughout the game you're collecting cards, and you play your monsters, and then when your monster dies, you like lose it. It's not in your deck in your hand anymore. So you just keep
That makes sense.
playing through it
Alright.
like that. And so basically, they took this idea of an auto battler and they changed it to a card game like Hearthstone. Now what they're doing, they're taking the roguelike dungeon crawl type of game, which is like Minecraft Dungeons is doing this. And I don't know if you've played any other games in the past where literally the whole point of it is to like start the game and finish the game and like go through this dungeon, and you might die like 1,000 times trying to beat it, but that's the whole point of the game. One of the bigger
Yeah.
games that came out last week or last year was Hades. That was a roguelike. So they announced that they're making a Hearthstone roguelike. So the idea that you collect monsters along the way as you're trying to beat these dungeons and go through them. And
It's pretty cool.
so they didn't give,
I think that's
yeah,
badass.
they didn't give a lot of information on it, but I think Hearthstone's doing a good job at taking like their base cards, their base game, and just making other games with it and making other
Yeah.
modes within the game. Um, yeah, I thought that was really cool. Yeah,
Yeah, it looks pretty cool. I saw a little bit of gameplay of it. It
yeah,
looks pretty cool. Yeah, and it looks yeah, it looks fun.
yeah. But other than that, I didn't see very much come out of Blizzard. I was hoping for something big on Overwatch, but uh,
Yeah, I mean, even the Overwatch gameplay was like, yeah. I mean, it was nothing really new. It seemed like, I guess a lot of people were a little upset about the
yeah,
Overwatch gameplay, but I'm excited. I've been playing Overwatch the last month.
okay,
I got back into it, so I'm excited for Overwatch too. I got a bunch of my friends back into it, so that was the thing I was most excited for, I guess, in that.
nice.
Um, but yeah, I mean, the whole thing about BlizzCon, I guess, is the in person, right? The in person BlizzCon and all the cosplay and all that. So
Yeah,
I guess that was kind of the missed part of BlizzCon.
yeah. So I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what it looks like. I was excited for Overwatch 2, and what they showed was like it's funny. I commented on, I think it was an IGN post, and I said it looks like they just didn't upgrade the game in the last year and a half, and they just held it
Yeah,
off to make Overwatch 2.
yeah,
And a lot of people were commenting on that, like agreeing with me. They're like, "Yeah, man,
yeah,
like they I mean, they were on track to release like two new characters a year, sometimes even three, new
hmm,
maps and like new content. And for the last like over a year, they haven't released anything but new skins for your characters.
yeah,
And people have been upset at that, and then like, oh, well, here's Overwatch 2 to just kind of like calm everyone down.
yeah,
But in the end, it's just like, well, either give us the new game or update the current game. Don't just leave the fans hanging.
yeah,
So
Yeah,
yeah,
I agree with you. I think it just has a lot to do with the whole, the COV going on.
yeah,
They're using that as an excuse to prolong their, I guess, creativity. Even though I know what they're trying to do, I guess I don't know what they're trying to do, but they know what they're doing moving forward, I guess. But they know, it sucks because, like you say, the fans are like, what are you doing? Like update this and all that.
yeah,
But like these owners know what they're doing because
yeah,
they may or may not lose, game players for their specific games. But the true fans are, no matter what, they're gonna ride along and wait it out and
yeah.
see what happens
Yeah,
because those are the true fans that are about the game.
yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, I guess I wasn't too upset. I mean, like I said, I just came back to Overwatch, so I haven't played it in a while. And I guess the thing is, like, would you rather them put all that time into Overwatch that's currently there, or them make a good Overwatch game and add new characters and add new? It's just kind of like you gotta pick your poison, I guess, in a sense. Um, but I mean, the changes they were making to Overwatch, how they made the tank changes, how they were focusing on a lot of the minor um, the game mechanics, how the teams are going to work,
mhm,
and the roles. So hopefully all that helps the competitive scene, because I mean Overwatch has always been about competitive scene, right? It's the main part of the game. If you're playing competitive in Overwatch, that's usually what most of the fan base is looking for, a lot of the tournaments and stuff like that. So that that's what they're focusing on. So if the mechanics come out to be what they're hoping to be, I'm excited for it.
yep, yep.
Yep,
We'll see. We'll
I
see.
agree with you.
See where it goes from here. Um, and then the third and final gaming event that I wanted to talk about was PlayStation State of Play. So PlayStation did this State of Play event, just kind of giving an update on where they're at with their games. Not just their games, they are also, like I mentioned before, they showed Knockout City on there, um, and and
Yeah,
and a bunch of other games that are going to be on other platforms. But one of the bigger things that came out of it, at least for me as a PlayStation player, was the Play from Home initiative. So what they're saying is that for the next, I think, 3 or 4 months, they're gonna release a free game, so a free like a big time game, every month, and this is for anyone that has a PlayStation. It doesn't matter if it's a PS4 or PS5. It doesn't matter if you have PlayStation Plus or not. Every month they're gonna release a game, and it's gonna be absolutely free, no strings attached for everyone. And the game for this month is Ratchet and Clank. So Ratchet and Clank, they remastered the original Ratchet and Clank, and I think it came out back in like 2017 or 2018. Um, this newer version of Ratchet and Clank, and now it's gonna be for free. I think it's really cool that they're just doing this initiative in general. Obviously, I think this is going along with the COVID stuff that you were saying, like play from home, and uh, and they're like they know everyone's at home, they know they're still playing, so let's just give them free games. Um,
Yeah.
what do you guys think about this initiative?
Yeah, I think it's great. I mean, giving free games to everybody is always a
Yeah,
good thing, especially for people who, are running out of games to play. There's a lot of people that, like you said, on Xbox, we have Game Pass, so we can always play different games if there is new games on there. So this is kind of just a little gimme to all the PlayStation fans. It gives you something to try out whenever you're a little bored or you don't have anything else to play. You know, every month, and especially a month, it gives you a little bit of time to play that game, and then say the new game comes out in a month, you get to play that game. So it's good for them.
yeah,
Yeah, I think they're thinking about it long term, and it goes back to what I was saying a little earlier. When it comes down to two fans of whatever games they're promoting that they're giving out for free or not, or not even about the game, just supporting their own console, whatever they're using on, and in this fact we're talking about, PlayStation, and I believe, yeah, this is a long term kind of game. Like the homeboy was saying right here, anything you can't go wrong with giving anything out free to these players out here, because that's
yeah,
gonna attract more people.
yeah,
Like, why not? Because I ain't gonna lie, like all these free games on PlayStation, whenever they promoting them, like, hey, this is free, and it makes a big hit. Oh, I'm on it. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm on it. I'm on it. I'm on it. And even they're free, but you gotta still there's that in-game kind of pay, that you gotta pay for certain things. And I think that's what they might do with these games too. They may be free, but you still gotta pay for certain things like skins or whatever kind of aspects,
Yeah.
yeah,
in a certain game. And I like I said, it's all long run, bro. Like, cause what about all these games that have been for free and all the money they've been making just because of the in-game kind of pay? Like I'm saying,
yep,
it's all
Yeah,
long term.
yeah, and it'll definitely encourage more people to buy PlayStation 5,
oh yeah,
because I mean, you're getting a free game. They could just promote that and say you're getting a free game every month. Buy the PlayStation 5.
Yeah.
Obviously you can still get it on PlayStation 4. I think you said it's on every PlayStation. So, but it's just another selling point for their console.
yep,
They're smart. Yeah.
yeah, it'll work out. Um, Other things that we saw during the PlayStation event was
Mm.
well, I guess going into the games now.
Yeah,
There was the updates to Crash Bandicoot. Basically, you're just upgrading everything to the PS5 because the that game came out before. So that was pretty cool to see. I think this next game, really stood out to me. I thought it looked really dope. It's called Returnal. So
hmm
Returnal, did you guys check that out? It's kind of like a
yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
It looked like a
Yeah.
roguelike, kind of like the dungeon crawls type of game that I was talking about before, but it's a third person shooter. That
yeah,
just
yeah,
so cool.
yeah. It looked awesome. That stood out to me for sure. That one and Deathloop for sure both stood out to me. But yeah, the I'm kind of jealous. I felt like this PlayStation event was probably the best out of the three.
Hmm.
A lot of the games on there they're pretty awesome. And I'm excited. I mean, it kind of makes me want to get a PlayStation just to play some of these games for sure.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. I mean that game specifically, it looks so cool, and just the whole point of it, like it reminded me a lot of Hades, and we talked about Hades, how like you
Yeah.
die and then you come back, but you have all your upgrades that you had along the way. Um, but they specifically mentioned that the monsters themselves will change over time, so they don't always appear in the same place. The only thing
Yeah,
that's really kind of the same is that you're stronger when you come in,
yeah,
and that's
And
just dope.
have they ever made a third person a game like that in a third person
I
before, or is that first of its
I
kind?
haven't seen anything like
Mm.
that. Like I
Yeah,
think Hades was pretty close, and like I played Transistor
yeah,
before that, but that's more again
yeah.
that's like the top
It's
down.
more like a over
Yeah,
top down view.
and but like a third person shooter like this, like I haven't seen that before.
Yeah,
Like it almost felt like playing like Mass Effect or like Destiny.
it's more immersive.
Yeah,
It looks more immersive for sure. Because I
but
mean,
Battle
sometimes that's
party.
the thing.
Mm.
Sometimes when you're in the top down view, it's hard to kind of take in the actual environment.
yeah,
So when the third person, you can actually see everything a little bit more clear. So yeah, the graphics looked amazing for sure.
Yeah, that's for sure.
yeah. The the next thing that we saw come out, which actually we actually didn't see a lot of gameplay. I think it was just more like a trailer. Was a Sifu martial arts fighting game. I thought it looked pretty cool. It reminded me a lot of what was that game called? It was like a samurai game that came out not too long ago, where it looked like it was a really hard game, but it with the purpose of like strategy in fighting. It kind of reminded me of
Yeah,
that. So I'm
The Go to Tsunami, not that one.
goes to yeah goes to what is it? Sashimi? No,
Sushimi or
that's
Sushami or
food.
something like that. Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, Ghosts. That one. It kind of reminded me of that, but it was just like martial arts fighting, and
yeah,
I think it's hard to explain this game because I say fighting game and you immediately think like you were saying like Mortal Kombat or like Street Fighter, but it's not that type of game. It's more like
yeah.
a up close like actual hand to hand combat martial arts type of game. Should tell Nick about it. He'd probably love it. uh, but with that, I mean, I think it looks really really dope, and I'm just waiting to see more footage on it.
Yeah.
Yeah, both that one and Solar Ash. I think I just want to see more footage on the game and how they play out. Solar Ash again, obviously like an adventure game with a lot of motion
Yeah.
involved, and that one looked more like appealing like to the eye. Yeah,
That one looked awesome. I like the like you said the motion aspect. It said it was based on all motion and just using the different abilities to get to the next the next part of the map.
yeah.
So the graphics look amazing. Kind of reminded me of like what's it called, Ori,
Or yeah,
like kind of like like that style.
yeah,
So it looked fun. It's a new mechanic. I don't know. They said they were trying to keep the combat
yeah.
simple
Uh huh.
and more focusing around the movement,
Yeah,
which was pretty cool.
yeah. Be excited
You
for
think
them.
they're trying to? What I you could never trying to say they're trying to do it on purpose, like because you were talking about like I know it's not obviously martial arts, but I've been playing a lot of Assassin's Creed lately too.
Yeah,
You know how that's like a lot of front to like you're actually going up against your they're not villains, but with your
yeah,
target, I
yeah,
guess I should say, and I feel like if it's something similar to that, it's gonna make and it involves martial arts. I think it'll be even a bigger hit.
yeah, yeah. I think so too. I think,
That's my opinion.
and it looks like it's coming out on PS5 too. So I think that's gonna be a good exclusive for them, especially if it only comes out on the next gen. So yeah,
Yeah,
we'll see.
Yeah,
We'll see how it goes. Another game that came out that I thought actually was pretty fun, was the new Five Nights at Freddy's Security Breach. That I mean, the original Five Nights at Freddy's was dumb enough, and it was fun. Like it was fun, but just the premise of it was so weird that I mean, it took off. Right? People played it on mobile all the time,
yeah,
but they're taking it one step further now with Security Breach. You're actually like it's a first person game, and you're actually running away from Freddy and the gang. Uh,
yeah,
I thought it looked pretty fun. It reminded me a lot of like the more recent horror games that have been coming out, like
yeah.
Phantasma,
And
yeah,
Phasmophobia.
Phasmophobia. There you go. Like it reminded me kind of those games. Like you're running away from the
Yeah,
ghosts and but in this one you're running away from the evil dolls that are trying to kill you.
yeah,
I thought it looked pretty funny. I think we're gonna get a lot of
yeah,
streamers playing that game.
yeah. For sure, freaked me out, man. That game, it just looks freaky, and yeah, I, more horror. We need more horror games. So
Yeah,
They need to keep bringing out as many. And Five Nights at Freddy's is a big game, especially on mobile. So I'm excited. I don't know if it was. Is it only on PlayStation that's coming out? I thought it was coming
Five
out on
Nights. I
Xbox.
doubt it would only come out on PlayStation because that
Okay.
game, the
Yeah.
original ones were on all over the place and they were mobile and
Okay.
everything. So
Cool.
yeah, like I mentioned before, just because it came out during this event doesn't mean it's just PlayStation exclusives.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then kind of the final game that they showed off was a Deathloop. Again, a first person
Yeah.
shooter. I wasn't. They showed a lot of gameplay, but I wasn't completely like sold on it. I don't
So
completely understand what's happening other than shooting.
Honestly, it kind of reminded me of Bioshock. That's why
Okay.
Bioshock, obviously not the gameplay of Bioshock, but the mechanics and just the movement looked cool. It kind of, I don't know, man. It really caught my eye. That game caught my eye. I think that's a PlayStation exclusive, so I was a little bit upset on that. But I don't know why. It just the movement, man. It was kind of like you were just moving side to side and quick movement and getting into combat, and then also you would throw a grenade and then go out the window, and it just the movement kind of it caught my eye for sure.
Yeah. Yeah, we'll see how that one goes. And then kind of the big thing that they left for the end was the Final Fantasy VII. So obviously, Final Fantasy VII, it got nominated for a bunch of awards last year, and this is the remake. Okay, another remake. Um, for those of you that haven't played this remake, it is really dope. It's not like the original Final Fantasy VII where you had your like turn-based combat where like you would pick a move and attack, and then the player you're fighting against would do the same thing, and you just kind of go back and forth. This actually took that out, and it's an action game, so you're actually like using your sword and hitting them, but you still have that mechanic on the side where you can pick and choose. Like you can freeze the combat and then pick your like special move that you're gonna use or your item that you're gonna use at that moment, and then you. So it's like everything's in slow motion for that split second, and then you go back into combat and you're fighting again with whatever you selected. And you can switch between characters mid fight within your team. So the game mechanics, the way they changed it was really cool. Kept the original story, added to it, and obviously it did really well because it got nominated for a bunch of awards and it won a bunch of awards. They're now taking it one step further and adding Final Fantasy VII Remake Intergrade, and it sounds like it's just a DLC. Honestly, it looks like it's DLC for Final Fantasy, but it is for PlayStation 5. So they didn't say that until the very end, which is kind of annoying. But the DLCs for PlayStation 5, and they also took this time to put the PlayStation 4 and the PlayStation 5 side to side and showing Final Fantasy 7 in both. It was funny
Okay.
because I was watching this in the living room with like my wife and my kid, and I told her like, "Do you see a difference?" And because I was like, in some of those clips, honest to God, I felt like the PlayStation 4 version looked better. And I don't know if it's just because like with Final Fantasy, you're expecting to play a fantasy game, something that doesn't look
Yeah.
realistic, and then the PS5 is bringing in like more like realistic like fog and lighting and all this, and they're trying to make
Mhm.
it look real, but the characters themselves, I mean, they don't look real. They're
Yeah.
obviously like characters. It's like an anime or something. So I don't know. I thought that was really interesting that they're kind of trying to like at the very end they're like selling you on the PS5. Oh, this is the
Yeah.
PS4, but look at PS5. Oh, and we got downloadable content for you, but it's for the PS5. Like, what did you guys think of that? I thought it was kind
Yeah.
of
Like
I don't know. They're like
yeah. I
pushing.
feel like I feel like that's kind of like you said. If it looks better on the PS4, or at least if it looks similar, that's kind of defeating their selling point in a sense because they're trying to sell the PS5, but then why show both graphics if it's really not that much better?
Yeah,
I guess it's kind of yeah, it's kind of
I,
like you're kind of hurting yourself there.
exactly. I feel like that's what they're kind of counter arguing themselves in a way, you know. Like I understand how they're kind of pull that, oh, it's only for PS5 at the end, because that's how they reel you in, like,
Yeah.
okay, well, they're not saying it's just for the PS5, until the end, but it's like, because if they would have said, oh, just for the PS5 right off the bat, well, some people would have been like, oh, well, okay, forget this commercial or forget this ad, or you know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Like, I'm gonna skip through that if it's just for the PS5. But then it's like, okay, well, they're ruling us in. All right, let me get into this game. Okay, but then it's like, oh, only for the PS5. Yeah, a lot of people probably be like, oh, well, damn, that
Yep.
sucks. But then a lot of people might be, not a lot of people, but then some people might be like, all right, well then I guess I gotta hop on that. So it's a it's a tactic, I guess. It sucks,
Yeah.
but I mean, I believe they know what they're doing, because we're not just thinking about just us in one city or one country or one, it's like all worldwide, I guess, if you think about it, because they, if they're not catching one person, they're catching multiple somewhere else,
Yeah.
and it's a smart strategic aspect. But yeah, it sucks, like you said, like, oh, well, only for PS5,
Yep.
but hey, I believe I know what they're doing, and
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not gonna fall for it, but
Yeah.
people will,
Yeah.
people will though.
Did they say when that's coming out?
The Intergrade, I think it was like in the summer, the DLC. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Maybe they're hoping by then, I guess, more PS5s, because I know PS5s have been hard to get. So
Yep.
I don't know.
Yes.
That's that. Hopefully by then more people will get their hands on it. So
Yep.
For
yeah.
sure.
So that,
I believe they know what they're doing.
yeah, yeah. So that wraps up our gaming events. Wanted to jump into this cool topic that Sergio actually brought to us. Do you want to go ahead and kick it off?
Yeah. So on Twitter, Xbox tweeted out, if you were in 2014, what game would you be playing on the 360? And I was just thinking, like, what game, if you had one game to play for one day to go back on 360 in those times, obviously there's remakes and stuff like that,
Yeah.
but to go back in those times, what game would you play? Or do you say PS3? If it's PS3 back then, PS3 same thing. What game are you playing back in 2014? Just one game.
Just one game. Well,
Oh,
I
man.
actually had a 360 back then.
2014.
What it,
2014.
Back then, probably would be like Halo, Call of Duty 4, Gears of War. You're going back to, I mean, I guess single player games would probably be Bioshock,
was it?
uh,
Wasn't GTA 5 on 360?
GTA 5, yeah, GTA 5,
I was probably
um,
playing that, honestly.
Minecraft, I guess Minecraft.
Yeah, I think 2014,
For me
yeah,
personally, I'm picking Call of Duty 4 Modern Warfare, and that was that. I know I played the remake. It's not the same, but if I'm going back in 2014, Call of Duty 4 Modern Warfare, some of the best times I've had on multiplayer
yeah,
for
it
sure.
was either for sure Modern Warfare or UFC, bro.
UFC.
I
Yeah,
was
yeah, the UFCs were fun back then.
Those
Yeah,
years for sure,
yeah,
bro. I was saying the UFC. Yeah, for sure Call of Duty or the
yeah,
UFC games in that year. I mean, I for sure I don't even count sports, because sports were no matter what, I was playing that no matter what. But for sure that year, because I graduated 2010. Yeah, for sure it was UFC or like I said, Modern Warfare.
yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
the Xbox 360. Now that I had a chance to think about it, um, back then, when I was dating my now wife, she bought me all of the Arkham games.
Oh,
And
okay.
Arkham, like Batman Arkham City, I have replayed that game like 3 times, and it's the only Arkham game that I beat 100%. Like I solved all
Yeah.
of the Riddler's riddles and everything without help from the
yeah.
internet. Like I figured it out myself. I was just so dedicated and really wanted to do it myself, and I had that summer off. And honestly, Arkham City's like ending is probably one of the best video game endings ever, in my opinion. And I
Yeah.
mean that's a dope game. And if you get a
Yep.
chance to play it, I mean, they're probably super cheap now, and they have remasters of those probably too. But man,
Yeah.
that those games, I think they're on Game Pass actually.
Yeah,
So
I think they
yeah,
are.
if
I've
you
seen
got
that.
Game Pass, I mean, you can skip the first Arkham Asylum. Just go straight to Arkham City. Honestly, it's such a dope game. I think that's what I'd be playing. Go
Yeah.
through it one more time.
Yeah. It was just interesting because I feel like that for me personally, and I think a lot of the gaming community, that's where gaming really grew to its maximum. Like
Yeah,
that was where the breed of pure gamers were born. At least in my eyes, Call of Duty 4, like Gears of War, Halo, GTA 5, Minecraft, like that was all in that one time. So it's just like, now all these games are coming back. There's still games. Minecraft's still being played. World of Warcraft's still being played.
yeah,
GTA 5, like GTA 5, and is being played daily. So, and Call of Duty's still around. So just all these games are still around. It's just interesting to see. You'd go back and still play those games, right? So
yeah,
it's like,
Yeah,
it's crazy. And just where gaming has come and where we were it's great.
yeah. It's really dope. So to see.
Yeah.
Um, okay, so wrapping it up here, as always, we end off with our recommendations. So, I'll start off. My recommendation for this week is definitely Final Fantasy VII. I know I talked about it extensively earlier, but this game, um, there was a demo I think for free not too long ago on PlayStation, and this month, uh, Final Fantasy VII is free on PS4 for PS Plus members. So if you play online, you can download this game for free. So make sure you go and download it. Final Fantasy VII, it legit. I mean, Final Fantasy VII, the old one is one of the greatest games of all time. Is consistently in the top 10. So going and playing this remake for $0, I mean, dude, get it. And even if you don't have PS Plus, I recommend you buy it just because it's that good of a game. You're gonna be playing it for hours, and there's so much to explore and so many different ways to play the game. Like you legit can beat the game with just one character, and then go through and beat the whole game again with another character. Or you can switch off between characters and try to play it more tactically. Like there's just so many different ways to play this game now, and it's such a cool story, and they the way they changed the mechanics is just out of this world. So definitely recommend Final Fantasy VII Remake. Go and get that one.
Awesome. For myself, I guess I would be. I've been playing Valheim. Valheim's been
Oh,
fun.
Valheim.
Yeah, Valheim has been. It's been fun. I love survival games. I play a lot of Minecraft, so
Yeah,
Valheim has been fun. It's definitely that Nordic style. The graphics are not to what I'd hope they. I mean, it's still in beta, so I'm hoping things get better. But it's been fun. I love survival games. If you like survival games, it's the ultimate survival game, and the boss fights and just everything just fun. It takes a little bit getting used
yeah,
to the game mechanics, but it's been fun.
yeah. I feel so. Like I was saying, lately a lot I've been playing Assassin's Creed, bro, and I know that's been around for a while, but and I've been playing it from the
yeah.
beginning. So right now, I was on Assassin's Creed 2, but Assassin's Creed 2, I've been playing on the whole I got the whole pack, so it's
Okay,
not
yeah,
like just the whole just the number two, so it has a bunch of
yeah, yeah.
different
The collection, yeah.
revelations and different like continuations and all that, and I had to hop on that new one though, but without a that's
Valhalla.
Assassin's Creed.
Wow.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly. That's the one I'm hopping on next. But for sure, without a doubt, like you said, if you want to have to go that one on one, not one on one combat, but just trying to be sneaky or the early spies, if you want to think about it that way. Because I think about these dudes that spies, the early spies in a way.
yeah,
They call them assassins, though. But hey, man, spies are killer too.
yeah,
So yeah, if you're into that kind of stuff, trying to be sneaky, trying to be strategic in a different kind of old school way, I recommend that without a doubt. I really like it because there's nothing with guns and all that. It's like with blades, old school kind of homemade bombs and all that kind of aspect. And I think it's pretty badass.
yeah.
And that's what I recommend myself.
All right, dope.
Assassin's Creed.
Thanks. All right, so that wraps up our stream and our podcast. I want to thank everyone for joining. We actually got up to 5 viewers on here for a very first stream. That's not bad. I want to thank everyone that joined and everyone that's going to view this. Thank you. Make sure to like and subscribe. Make sure to follow us at Quickscope Podcast, but also follow Higher Passion. They're putting all the highlights over there. and pointing you to different podcasts. Make sure to check out Ruben on a bunch of those podcasts too. You got Heroes and Mutants. They're talking about. I just caught that last WandaVision one, man. That show's getting so good right now. So yeah. So definitely check out the other podcasts. And thank you for liking, subscribing. Let us know in the comments what you guys want us to talk about. And we'll catch you on the next one. GG's.
GG's, everybody.
Yep.
Bye, guys.
Appreciate y'all.
Head going.